Hi everyone, welcome to Tuesday. And of course, every Tuesday we take a look at the performance of the main board for the New Zealand Stock Exchange, being the NZX50. Just remember though, this is for educational purposes only. No way is it intended to be personalised financial advice. If you're looking for that, go and have a chat to your own financial advisor. Now, just before we jump across and take a look at the performance for the New Zealand Stock Exchange, just a reminder that we are in June, and if you have KiwiSaver, it is a good time to take a look and make sure that you've contributed 1,043 for the year to your own KiwiSaver, because this is the minimum amount that you have to contribute in order to get the maximum benefits from the government, being the $260 credit. This has to be done by the 30th of June. I recommend doing it at least a week before, because sometimes transfers can take a wee while. If you're not sure, by all means, reach out. I'm happy to help you with that. Right, let's take a look at the New Zealand share market. Okay, you can see here that we had a positive week last week, which was really good to see. The other good thing to see is that when you look down the bottom at the bar chart down here, there was a lot more volume going on. So there were a lot of people interested in buying potentially that dip that happened the previous week. The other good sign as well is you can see that tail on that last candle. I'll just zoom in. That really does indicate buying pressure. And like I just said, really good to see. If I take a look down the bottom here at the bar chart, you can see I've got a moving average over it, a 13 exponential period moving average, and you can see the volume just ticked up a little bit above that, and that is really good, because what can happen is when we get an up week on an indices or a share and the volume breaks above that 13 period moving average, that really does indicate buying pressure. And potentially it's going to be sustainable. Who knows? Only time will actually tell us that. I'm certainly not in the game of trying to guess what's going to happen in the markets. Let's jump back to the 1 year chart and see what that's saying to us. And you can see here, look at this. Friday was really huge. You can see that this climbed basically for the day. There was virtually next to no selling. So that is excellent to see. And yes, really encouraging. Thursday was a down week. Wednesday was a good positive week. And again, when you see these down wicks on green candles, they indicate good positive buying pressure. No surprises that Thursday was potentially a down day. When you look at those candles, they almost null each other out, really. They're pretty much identical. And Tuesday was a good buying day. Monday obviously was down, but this is a really good sign for our share market. Let's put on our moving averages and just see what they are telling us. So we will use the 30 exponential. We go on a daily basis. The market is trading above that, which is great. Let's also put on the 15 period moving average. There we go. So our market on a daily basis is trading above both of those, and they're both swinging to the upside. Really good to see. Let's go back to the 5 year chart and just see if that's confirming that. Okay, the market's trading above both of those moving averages. They are rising. However, if I zoom in, you can see that the blue line, being the 15-week moving average, hasn't yet crossed through that 30. So for me, I would just be holding fire. And if we can have another positive week this week, then that is a good indicator to potentially start looking at, obviously, buying opportunities into our market. One last thing I'm going to have a look at is to just see how much volatility there is. So at the bottom, you can see I've got the ATR, which is the average true range or average trading range, which really says, because I've got this on a weekly chart, in an average week at the moment, you could expect movement of about $292. Now that changes, and you can see back through January, February, that was really low, but that has started to climb. So to find out how much volatility there is, I simply take that figure, 292.17, and divide it by the market at the moment, so 13,393.87. And then just times it by 100. So we're looking at about 2.18% volatility. To me, that's perfectly fine. If it got up to 5 or above, I definitely sit on the sidelines and just wait and see what actually happens, because if there's a lot of volatility, you can get whipsawed around quite a bit, and that is an uncomfortable position to be in. But this is a really good, encouraging sign for our market, especially last week, given that a lot of the indices, the Australian and the S&P 500, actually came off. In fact, they've perhaps had a couple of weeks in a row where they've fallen. So for ours to counter trend what's happening is actually really quite encouraging. We've been counter trending for quite some time, and the fact that they've been having good, strong rallies, but our market hasn't. So it's good to see that we've turned that around. Now, I really hope that's helped. I certainly haven't been buying any shares for a wee while, simply because I want to see our market in a good, strong uptrend before I start doing that. I'll just stop sharing. Now, on Thursday, I am not going to do a share and review. This time, I'm actually going to do a bond review. Reason for that is, for those of you who are in Sharesies, you may have seen recently that they advertised that Ryman Healthcare were offering a bond out in the market. So I thought, let's go and do a review on that bond and just see the strength of it, see how they work, explain that to you, and hopefully help you in considering whether it is appropriate for you or not. Just some things to look out for. Again, it's definitely not personalised financial advice. So come back on Thursday and take a look at that. And lastly, just remember, I love having your comments and feedback. So if you've got anything that you'd like to know, even if you just want to offer some encouragement, that's great. I love doing these, and I love helping people to certainly learn about finances and make your journey as successful as you want it to be. So until Thursday, do take care.